Hey, what's happening? Am I on? I'm not plugged in again. What am I thinking, man? Headset. Check. All right, this should be better. Hey, what's going on? It's day 12 on the road to Ironman Louisville. 12 days left. A lot of banner about taper. And that's exactly what I'm thinking about right now is my taper. People are talking about how they're acting weird. They're having ghost pains, ghost sickness, all this stuff. And I don't know. I'm just trying to enjoy it because I went out for an easy ride today, 1 hour. And I kind of was at the point where I wanted to keep going, but I was like, you know what? That's not what's going on here. I'm going to keep sticking to the plan. Got done, had a little more energy, and actually went out and got the weed eater out. It's like that is like these weird things that just start happening. I was sitting around going, you know what? I think I'm going to weed eat the driveway because my house has just gotten out of control with all this training and Chattanooga and Wisconsin, and I'm just like my backyard is an absolute mess, and the driveway was getting a little long, so I had to get the weed eater going. It was wet again. It was raining all day this morning. I snuck in my ride between rains, which is kind of nice. I do have a little water in my wheel. My what do you call it? And you can hear the water in there. So I had to spend a lot of time just trying to drip it out this really small little hole. And I think I'm good. Cleaned up the bike, cleaned the chain again. I'm gonna stay on that, especially when it's wet. And so I also started my packing. Believe it or not, I do this now. I start laying stuff out because things will cross my mind, and instead of it could be some random thing like, oh, what if it's really cold and I may need toe covers. And I've got this drawer, my bottom drawer of my dresser is just loaded with all this stuff. So I actually pulled out the drawer tonight and just kind of went through it one by one, pulled a few extra CO2 cartridges, an extra tube, a bunch of extra stuff. I've got like this like ankle compression brace that I have, and what else was in there? Arm warmers, arm coolers, um, extra race belt, um, extra earplugs, extra pair of goggles, all this stuff. And I actually started stocking. I filled up a backpack that I use, and I make that my backup backpack. Um, so I've got all this stuff. I put like basically enough nutrition for the ride in there, and maybe for the run. I have a backup there. So like when I go up there, I'll have my main line of stuff in a certain bag. But this is like backup stuff in case I've got. I won't wear gloves unless it's going to be cold. But if it's in the 40s or something like that, or and it's raining, any kind of weird thing like that, I've got like full finger gloves for the bike, and I've got regular gloves in case it is raining, because that's really about the only time I wear gloves on anymore, because Robbie's just not a big fan. But I don't know. Sometimes on a bumpy road, it's good. But I hope to be an aero a lot. And the thing about gloves is your grips get slick, and if it's going to be raining, I just want to be ready for that. So I got a bunch of extra stuff in there. I'm wearing this is my run cap right here. This has turned into the hat that I wear for workouts. And it's getting a little bit beat up, but so I don't even know if I know unless it's I don't know. It's all going to come down to weather, but like last year, I didn't even wear this hat. I wanted a hat. It was cold last year, but I came off the bike and I didn't want a hat for the first loop. But I knew that it might get cold because it kept raining and whatever. It was getting weird. So about when I came down, I had this in my backpack, and I think my mom or somebody was carrying it. And when I came back into town on the loop, I told them when I came around, I wanted somebody to sneak this hat to me, and I put this hat on to stay warm. Now, if it's super hot, there's a potential that I'll wear it as well, but to hold ice, I just pack ice in my hat sometimes and let it just sit up there. So we'll see what the temperature is, but this is the game hat right here. And I don't want to put it in special needs because I may not want to stop, and I'd hate to lose my favorite training cap. So that's where I'm at on all that stuff. I got my neighbor's he's pretty good with bikes. So I'm going to try and get over to his house tomorrow and just have him give me a run through on the tune up. The bike's riding pretty good right now. There's a little weird sound that I can't trace, but for the most part, it rides well. And once it seems like it's weird, it's like when it warms up, that sound goes away. But I did clean my chain again and re-lubed it, so maybe that'll take care of it, hopefully too. But other than that, yeah, back tomorrow. It's swimming and running again, and then just sticking with it and working on some videos from Chattanooga. Posted some of that stuff. I got a lot more things I want to do with that. And this taper's giving me the energy. I'm just in the taper. Here's the thing. What I try to do is like, you're going to start getting hungry, and I get hungry a lot. And I'll always, when I get hungry, and it seems like I shouldn't be always getting hungry, I'll always go for water first and drink a glass of water and see if that kind of curbs it and makes me forget about the hunger piece. So I'm also trying to get. I have been drinking kind of these green protein smoothie things with spinach and a banana and some protein powder. That's kind of been my green source because I'm just not a big vegetable eater. I don't really like it, but I don't mind drinking them like that. And then I've been eating a lot of eggs and got some avocados and tuna fish and things like that as I get. I mean, I guess I'm just trying to keep an eye on the energy piece and not overeating too much. And feeding, when your muscles are healing, from what I understand, it's like they're seeking protein. It's probably going to help you the most. So I'm trying to get protein and fats going again during this taper. So maybe it'll curb my hunger a little bit. I did do a little bit of butter coffee this morning. It really does wonders for the hunger situation. So whenever I have like a little butter coffee, I just don't feel hungry all morning. And then I'll do a little workout late morning and then eat after that, maybe with a smoothie. And today I had eggs and toast. That was it. I've had a couple Cliff Bars this afternoon. So it's just trying to refrain, as much as I can especially from overeating and just bored eating, because that's what happens a lot too. Anyway, so tonight I'm meeting CC. It's about 7 o'clock. We're meeting at 7:15 for sushi right down the street. Little fish and rice tonight. Take it easy. Come back and watch the Cubs Rockies wild card game. Pretty excited about that. And what else was I thinking about today? It's interesting, thinking about when you're doing a 1 hour ride easy, kind of thinking about what that means. My easy was kind of, I don't want to say at race pace, but it was kind of trying to find the effort of the race and not going too hard. And I also think about it in terms of I think I rode, around 18 miles or something and a little over an hour. And I always, in my head, when I take off, I'm always like, all right, this is River Road. This is River Road. First 10 miles. What are we going to do? What are we going to do about this? It's all flat. How are we going to hold back? How are we going to stay steady? How we, like, how is it going to go? Because it's not going to go out of the gate ball buster. I know that. I just, it's one of those weird things where you got that flat. You probably have a little wind at your back. You don't want to lose. You don't want to just give away speed, but you don't want to. I don't want to go anywhere near out of. I just want to warm up my legs good, because I think if you warm up your legs properly, um, I think there's stages of warm up. I think you go through the whole ride. You warm up to mile 15. You warm up from 15 to 30 to the next level, kind of thing. That's ideally how I'd like to progress the whole thing. And also what I feel like happens when you do that slow. I think if you warm up too fast or you go out too hard, it can kind of confuse your muscles in a bad way. Like like you start feeling them. Like you start feeling like that lactic acid buildup. And so I'm just going to try and have fun through, at least through the whole first loop. Not go too hard, but not go too slow. Just kind of find a nice steady pace and not really worry too hard about the speed. I'm going to be using my internal power meter. I will be, I'll have some numbers in mind as I'm riding, different stages that I'd like to see. That's the other thing I do, because I warm up. I go real slow over to the lab or whatever, and can't go really more than like 14 or 15 miles an hour on the greenway legally. And I usually don't. I don't like to fly over there because people are running around, and families and stuff like that. So by the time I get to the lab, then I started thinking about, all right, what's this average speed going to get to if I'm just staying steady right here? And then I just watch the average speed go up, and think in my head if that's going to be acceptable or not. I don't know. I'm really not overthinking it. I'm just trying to. Everything I'm thinking about is just slow, 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 easy, easy, easy. Because you can't go back once you've gone over that threshold. I mean, it's very difficult. I mean, I don't want to. Historically in the swim, bike, and run, I feel like I'm always holding on. I'm always holding on because I've gone too hard, too fast, and I just don't want. I don't want to do it, but I also don't want to give in. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to. So I'm just. I'm really walking that tightrope, but I'm really kind of thinking in terms of, at least mentally being on this negative split mentality. That race is not won the minute you jump off that pier. That race is not won on River Road. That race is not won on the first loop of that marathon course. I would love to be able to come in on that marathon the second lap and actually feel like running a little bit more. Because last year it was just the worst. It was the worst. Last thing I wanted to do was run that lap. I mean, that was literally the last thing I wanted to do. And I somehow pulled it off, and it was just nothing but pain. So, we always talk about on the podcast, Crushing Iron podcast, how, how much more enjoyable it is to be passing people at the end of each thing than at the beginning. And just to be able to enjoy it. We talk about enjoying it, but I mean, it seems like, wow, can you really enjoy that? I think maybe you can. But anyway, the taper is a good time to be, doing your core work, doing your rolling, taking your vitamins, eating a lot of stuff. Do I have an overall time? Hey, John, do I have an overall time goal or just enjoy the day? I always tell people, I just, I don't have a time goal. Of course I think about things, but my main goal is to, like I just was talking about, get to that second lap of the marathon and feel like I want to still run, and maybe feel like I have quite a bit left in me. So I think if that happens, that'll take care of business. And I think at Louisville, I've done my first year in that heat race, I was like 12:45. Last year, I was at 12:50 or 11:58, maybe, or 6 or something. And I mean, I definitely am going back to beat both of those times, and I'd like to do it convincingly. How's that? But I think I can, if I just stay with the game plan. It all comes down to the run. I'd like to do roughly what I did on the bike both times, which was right around 6 hours, but with less effort. And I think I'm in better shape, so that's good. And I think I'm definitely in better swim shape than I was last year too. So hopefully I get a couple minutes there, get maybe a minute or two or so on the bike, but with less effort, and then just have something for the run, just to be able to go get it. I'd love to be able to do that second lap and come off that turnaround, which is about 6 miles out, and have with 6 miles left or something like that, and really feel the finish line and feel hungry for it with something left. So that's where I'm at. Time for sushi and baseball, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Check out the new video, crushingiron.com, of all the, not all, but like 100 or so Chattanooga finishers. I kind of edited something up for it. So I will catch you tomorrow. Thanks. Appreciate it, John.